Right, question 1. It's just a compound shape. So if you split it into a rectangle, another rectangle, and a triangle. So this one here, this rectangle here, so area of this rectangle here is really straightforward. So area of rectangle is 25 times x plus 2. So 25 times x plus 2. And we can expand those brackets. And that gives us 25 times x, which is 25x, plus 25 times 2, which is 50. So that one's done. Then we need to find the area of this rectangle. So we know that it's 7 here. And then we just need to find out what this is. Well, the whole thing all the way across is x plus 6. And then I need to take away this bit up here, which is x plus 2. So x take away x is nothing. And then 6 take away 2 is 4. So that bit there is just 4. So the area of the next rectangle is simply 7 times 4, which is 28. Now the triangle. So we know that the base of the triangle is 4, because it's underneath there, so it must be the same, so 4. We just need to find this bit here. Well, so I know that the whole thing is 25. Here is 7, and here is 8. So I just need to take away the 7, take away the 8, and that leaves 10. So this must be 10. So the area of the triangle is 10 times 4, and then remember we halve it, so it's 20. And then we simply add them all up to find the total area. So total area equals 25x plus 50 plus 28 plus 20. And when you add them all together, you get 25x plus 98. Now, you know, it already tells you that the area is 258. So we simply then do an equation where we put 25x plus 98 equals 258. And I can solve that. I take away 98 from both sides. And that gives 25x equals 160. And then I divide by 25 on both sides to give me that x is 6.4. Okay, a lot to do for 5 marks, but I think you could have started that. But I think a lot of you got scared with the algebra. Okay, so next one we had to write this as a single fraction. Well, the only way you can add fractions is if both denominators are the same. So I'm going to make both denominators 24x. No, I'm not actually. I'm going to make both of them 12x. If you made both of them 24x, you would still get the correct answer, but you would have to simplify at the end, because it does ask you to write it in its simplest terms. And so you would have to simplify at the end, but I'm going to make them both 12x. So 3/4, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3x. And then 5 minus x over 6x, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So what I get is 3 times 3x is 9x, over 4 times 3x, which is 12x, plus 5 minus x times 2 is 10 minus 2x, over 6x times 2, which is 12x. So then I put them together, so I've got 9 take away 2x, which is 7x, and then I've got the plus 10. And then it's all over 12x. And so there is, I don't need to simplify there. There's nothing else to simplify there. Let's have a look now at the next one. So I'm just making sure that I've done the sum correct. 9 take away. Yeah, 9 take away 2x. That's fine. Okay, because it was an addition. Yeah, so that's fine. Okay, the next one. Right, so I think you got 1 mark for your reasons. So a lot of you didn't put reasons, but at least if you could work out what the angle was, which some of you were able to. Okay, so you got to give reasons. Okay, so let's have a look. You have got an isosceles triangle here. So this is isosceles because they are both going from the centre, so they're both the radius. Here must be then 52, which means you can work out what this one is by doing 52 plus 52, which is 104. And then subtracting that number from 180 to give you 76 degrees. So this one must be 76 degrees, and a lot of you did that. And so I'm going to put my reasons down. So angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And then the angle, this is the bit that's going to give me ABC. So ABC is this angle here. And so this final bit will give me ABC, the angle at the circumference. So the angle at the circumference is half the angle at the centre. And so we just need to find half of 76 degrees because this is the angle at the centre and this should be half it. And so half of 76 gives you 38 degrees. Okay, so you just put your reasons down as well as the answer. Question 4, some expanding. So I'm going to expand, first of all, 2x, 2x plus 3 and x minus 5 first. Okay, 2x times x is 2x squared, x times 3 is 3x, minus 5 times 2x is minus 10x, and minus 5 times 3 is minus 15. I can gather like terms, so I gather these two together, and that gives me a final answer of 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Then I take that answer and I need to expand again. So I've got 2x squared minus 7x minus 15, and I need to multiply it by the last bracket, which is x plus 4. So x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. Minus 7x times x is minus 7x squared. Minus 15 times x is minus 15x. 2x squared times 4 is 8x squared. Minus 7x times 4 is minus 28x. And minus 15 times 4 is minus 60. I gather like terms again. So let's have a look. I've got 8x squared minus 7x squared. So I've got my final answer is 2x cubed plus 1x squared. Then I put together my minus 28x and minus 15x, which gives me minus 43x. And then I've got the minus 60. So that's my final answer. Okay, factorise. So what's the biggest number that goes into 15 and 20? It's 5. It goes into 15 3 times, into 20 4 times. And I can also take out a y cubed. So I'm going to take off the y cubed there and take off 3 of the y's there. That leaves inside the brackets then 3y and then just plus 4u on this side. And that's it. Okay, so on this one I would cross multiply to start solving this. So you've got 4 minus 3x equals 5 minus 8x over 4. So we're going to multiply this. And imagine this is over 1, so multiply that by 1. Nice and easy. So 4 times 4 is 16. Take away minus 3x times 4, which is minus 12x, equals 5 minus 8x. And now we can solve it. So I am going to add 8x to both sides. So add 8x to both sides to get rid of the minus 8x. That's going to give me 16 minus 4x equals 5. Then I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides to get rid of the 16 here. And that's going to give me minus 4x equals minus 11. And then I'll divide both sides by minus 4 to give me that x, positive x, equals 2.75 or 2 3/4 if you want to leave it like that. So, or 2 3/4. Okay, or 11 over 4. You can leave it as 11 over 4 as well. Okay, factorise fully. Here again, the biggest number that goes into 12 and 8 is 6. It goes into 12 twice. Goes into 18 3 times. I can also take a p outside the brackets. So I put p there. And then what's left inside the brackets on this side is 2q. minus, left on the other side is just 3. And so then I factorise that. Okay, there are 56 metal bars in a box. Each metal bar is gold or silver or zinc. So it tells us how many gold. It says work out the number of metal bars that are zinc. Okay, so let's work it out. So it tells us that there are 56 in total. Okay, so it tells us here there are 56 metal bars in total. So what I need to do now is add up all of this. I need to do y plus 3y plus 7. Oops, sorry. Oh, took it off the pen. Plus 7 plus 2y minus 5. And I know that must equal 56. So then I gather my like terms. So I've got y plus 2y, plus 3y. And so that gives me 6y. So I write 6y. And then I've got 7 take away 5, which gives me 2. So that equals 56. Then, as usual, I take away 2 from both sides. And that gives me 6y equals 54. And then I divide both sides by 6 to give me y equals 9. Now I know that y equals 9. It's asked me how many metal bars are zinc. So I need to go where zinc is. It says that zinc is 2y minus 5. So I need to do 2 times y, which I now know is 9. So 2 times 9 and then take away 5. And so 2 times 9 is 18. Take away 5. Take away 5, which gives me 13 bars. Okay, here you've got to solve these simultaneous equations using the graph. They've already drawn this, 2y plus x equals 1. So they've already drawn this one for you. So the one that we need to draw is this one here. Now, a lot of you would have looked at that and felt like, oh God, that looks like a horrible one. All we need to do is take the x, minus x, and the minus 2 to the other side so that I get y equals x plus 2. Okay, they are one and the same. So all I did was take a minus x and the minus 2 to the other side of the equal sign so they become positive. So it gives me y equals x plus 2. Nice and easy then. I can draw myself a little table if I want. And if I want, I'll just draw, I'll just do from minus 3, I'll maybe do 0, and I'll do 5. I'll just do 3 points. So to find y, I just add 2. So minus 3 plus 2. So minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. 0 plus 2 is 2. And 5 plus 2 is 7. So I plot those points. Minus 3, minus 1. 0, 2. And 5, 7, which is not on there. So I might do 3 plus 2, which is 5. And then straight line through. Okay, so I've drawn it, and then remember, simultaneous equation, you solve it by looking at where the two lines cross. And they cross at minus 1, 1. So they cross where x is minus 1 and y is 1. So minus 1, 1. And it seems like a lot of you need to do a bit of more practice on that. Okay, straight line passes through the points and we need to find an equation of the line. So the first thing you do is find the gradient. And you do it by doing 0, take away minus 3. So 0, take away minus 3. Divide it by 2, take away 0. So this becomes a plus. So 0 plus 3 is 3. And then 2 take away 0 is 2. So 1.5. Or you can leave it as 3 over 2. So that's the gradient. Now, hopefully, you will have realised that it crosses the y-axis at 0 minus 3. So there's no more calculation you need to do. Your equation is y equals 1.5x minus 3, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay? Right. An upper and lower bounds question. Well, it's only asking for the upper bound, and because only multiplication and addition is present, we're just going to find the upper bound. So what I would do is I would take my values. I'm going to find the upper bound, so UB for upper bounds. So A is 8.3, C is 2, and Y is 15. So A is 8.3 to two significant figures, which means that the upper bound must be plus 0.05 because it's correct to one decimal place, so 0.1. Half of 0.1 is 0.05. So upper bound is 8.35. This is correct to one significant figure, C equals 2. So the upper bound is 2.5. And Y is 15 to the correct to the nearest 5. So half of 5 is 2.5. So we're going to add 2.5 to get the upper bound. So that's 17.5 is the upper bound. Now all I do is substitute those values into the formula they've given me. So P equals A, so 8.35, times C plus Y, so 2.5 plus 17.5. So 8.35 times, okay, do what's in the brackets first. So 2.5 plus 17.5 is 20. So 8.35 times 20 is 167. So 167 is your correct answer. Okay, again, another factorisation. So what's the biggest number that goes into 18 and 21? It is 3. And 3 goes into 18 6 times, goes into 21 7 times. We can also take out C squared. So I'm going to take out C squared, so I take off one of the C's there, and that's it. So what's left on this side is 6C D squared and minus 7 on the other side. And that's it. Okay, so factorise. You've got to find two numbers that multiply to make minus 18, but add to make minus 3. So multiply to make minus 18, add to make minus 3. If you think of all the things that multiply to make minus 18, you could have had 2 and minus 9, minus 2 and positive 9, minus 3 and positive 6, 3 and minus 6, 1 and minus 9, minus 18, sorry. So 1 and minus 18, and minus 1 and positive 18. Now the only ones that add to make minus 3 are minus 6 and 3. And so that's what we put in our brackets, x plus 3, x minus 6. And then it says, hence solve this equation here. Obviously, it's related to part B. We haven't done this, but it's only worth 1 mark. And so it would be x equals minus 3 or x equals 6, but we'll do it in more detail. Oh, sorry, and these are y's, sorry. Replace the x's with y's. But you would still get it right. And so, hold on, I'll replace those. No, I won't. But just imagine that they're y's, okay? So that's fine, and that would be your solution. Okay, change the speed. And so it's 90 kilometers per hour. And so to change 90 into meters, I would times by 1,000, because there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So to change 90 kilometers, I would times by 1,000. And then the 1 hour on the bottom, I would times by 3,600, because there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. And the way I worked that out was there's 60 minutes in one, so 60 seconds in 1 minute, and 60 minutes in 1 hour. So 60 times 60, which is 3,600. I can do that all on a calculator, and that gives me 25 meters per second. Okay, this question 12, is a bit more of a complicated one. So you've got a kite, and so we can sketch it. Oops, sorry. We've got a kite, and can kind of sketch it. And we know that AB, so let's call this AB, and AD, oops, let's do it the other way around. Sorry, A's there. AB and AD are equal, and CB and CD are equal. Okay. So the first things that we want to do is they want us to calculate an equation for AC. So just so that you can see, AC is this line here. First of all, we need to find BD. So our first thing is to look at BD before we can look at AC. So we need to know what the gradient of BD will be, and we can find it by looking at the gradient of this line, because it says that the line BD is parallel to this line here. So in order to find the gradient, I'm going to rearrange it. So 5y minus 3x equals 6. I'm going to take the minus 3x onto the other side, so it becomes 5y equals 6 plus 3x, and then I'll divide everything by 5. So divide everything by 5, and that gives me y equals 6 over 5 plus 3 over 5x. So that tells me straight away that the gradient of BD must be the same as this gradient, which is 3 over 5, so 3/5. They are one and the same. That's going to help me find this coordinate here, because it tells me D has the coordinates 8, 7, and B has coordinates K, 1, and that it's a negative, that k is negative, but I don't know what k is, so I'm going to work that out first. In order to do that, I need to find the equation of BD. So I know that BD must be y equals 3/5 x plus something. And then I'll substitute in the values of either B or D. Well, it's going to have to be D because I don't know B yet. So D, coordinates for D are 8, 7. So where I see Y, I'm going to put 7. Where I see X, I'm going to put 8 plus C. So then I work it out and I get 7 equals 24 over 5 plus C. And then subtract both sides by 24 over 5, and that gives me C equals 11/5. So then carrying on here, so I don't run out of room, it shows me that my equation is 3/5 x plus 11/5. So then in order to find out what k is, I'm going to substitute in y equals 1. So y equals 1 equals 3/5 x plus 11/5. So I'm going to subtract 11/5 on both sides. So, sorry, 11/5. I don't know why I wrote 15. So 11/5 on both sides. So 1 take away 11/5, and I get a negative, so minus 6/5 equals 3/5 x, and then I divide both sides by 3/5. I'm going to divide by 3/5 to give me that x equals minus 2. So now I know that my coordinate for B is actually minus 2, 1. So I know that. It's going to help me find the coordinate for the middle, for the midpoint. And so this is something that you may not have known, but to find the midpoint of between any 2 points, we add the 2 points, add the 2 x coordinates. So in this case, it was minus 2 and 8, and then halve it. Add the 2 y coordinates, 1 and 7, and then halve it. And so minus 2 plus 8 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. 1 plus 7 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So that is your midpoint. That's in the middle of those 2 points, in the middle of B and D. So this point here, we now know is 3, 4. Okay, now we can take it all the way, almost. We know that AC, which is what we're trying to find, is perpendicular. So it's at right angles to BD. So we also learned that the gradient of the line that's perpendicular, so that is at right angles to it, is the reciprocal, the negative reciprocal. So if the gradient of this one was 3/5, the gradient of the line perpendicular must be minus 5/3. So we just flip it. So 5 goes to the top, 3 on the bottom, and we make it negative. So we change the sign. So minus 5/3. So now all we need to do is say y equals minus 5/3 x plus c. And we substitute in our 0.34 that lies on the line. So substituting in 3, 4, so y is 4 minus 3 minus 5 over 3 times x, and x is 3, plus c. Then you can do all of this on the calculator, remember. So then we get 4 equals minus 5 over 3 times by 3 just gives you minus 5 plus c. Add 5 to both sides, gives you c equals 9. Okay, we're almost there. This one was a tricky question. We're almost there. So y equals minus 5 over 3x plus 9 is almost your final equation, but they did say here that they want you to write it in this form. So they want something times x plus something times y equals a number. Okay, so we're going to have to rearrange what we've got here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to times everything by 3, because we need integers, we need full numbers, that's what it said at the beginning. So it says 3y equals minus 5x plus 27. And then I'm going to take x to this side, so it becomes positive. So I get 3y plus 5x equals 27. And that is your final answer. Okay, so it was a long one, that one. And if you're not sure, then come and speak to me and we can go through it together again. But it is, remember, towards the end of the paper, that's where you're going to see a lot of your grade 8 and grade 9 questions. And that is going to be true for the real exam especially. Okay, so we want to draw the graph here. Personally, what I would do is I would rearrange it so that I take 5x the other side, so I get 2y equals 10 minus 5x. And then I would divide by 2 to get y equals 5, take away 5 over 2x. Then draw myself a little table, x and y. So I've got minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. I have to carry on down here. 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then again, remember, all of this can be done on the calculator. All I need to do is do 5, take away 5 halves times, in this case, minus 2, and I get 10. Then I do 5, take away 5 halves times by minus 1. That gives you 7.5. And so on, I keep going. So then I get 5 on this one, 2.5 here, 0 here, minus 2.5, and minus 5. And all of that can be done on the calculator. So then I plot my points. Minus 210 is here. Minus 1, 7.5 here. 0, 5. 1, 2.5. 2, 0. 3, minus 2.5. And 4, minus 5. And draw a straight line going through those points. Sorry, I'll have to move up. Okay, and that's it. Question 14. So it says work out the area of the triangle. In order for me to work out the area of the triangle, I need to know the base and I need to know the height. Okay, I don't know the perpendicular height at the moment, but I can use Pythagoras to help me. So in order to use Pythagoras, first of all, I can make a right angle triangle here. I know because it's isosceles that I've split it exactly in half, so that part here is 12. Now I need to just work out what this part here is. And I can do that because they tell me that the perimeter is 54. So I'm going to do 54, take away 24, because I know this is 24. So that gives me 30. So it means that this plus this must give me 30. Since it's isosceles, it means that these two are the same. So I'm going to do 30 divided by 2 to give me that this side here is 15. And then I'm going to use Pythagoras. Since this is one of the shorter sides that I'm working out, I'm going to do 15 squared minus 12 squared, which gives me 81. And then I'm going to do the square root of 81 to give me 9 centimetres. Do not forget you have not finished there. So 9 centimetres just tells you the height of the triangle. So to find the area now, I need to do base, which is 24, times height, which is 9, and then halve it. So 24 times 9, and then halve it is 108 centimetres squared. And again, you can do your calculations on the calculator. Okay, next one. They want us to find the size of angle JGH. So JGH, which is here. They want you to find that angle there. And in order to, and they also want you to give reasons, okay? So let's do the working out first. We know that this part here is an isosceles triangle. So we can do 180, take away 44, which gives you 136. And then I can do 136 divided by 2, which gives me 68 degrees. So I know that this is 68 and this is 68. Then I know that angles on a straight line, so we're talking about this line here, add up to 180. So I can do 180, take away 68, which gives me 112 degrees. So I know that that is 112 degrees. And finally, here I have got a corresponding angle. So that 112 is exactly the same here. So that's also 112 degrees. Okay, so the answer is 112. I've pretty much got 3 marks there. The other 2 marks is for putting in your reasons. So I need to put some reasons here. One of them is that the angle in a triangle, so I use that first of all, angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And then I used angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. And the last reason I used was that corresponding angles. So the F is corresponding, so corresponding angles are equal. Okay, so that's for your other 2 marks. Okay, question 16. So it asks us to find the perimeter of the trapezium. In order to find the perimeter of the trapezium, I'm missing 2 sides. I need this side and I need this side. And at the moment, I'm missing them. So the angle there is a clue that we probably need to use trigonometry. So I'm going to form a right angle triangle here. And that is going to help me find both this side and the little bit here that I need, okay? And so let's find CD first. Let's find this side first. So first of all, I'm going to label it. This is my hypotenuse. This I know is 16.7. and that is my opposite because it's opposite the angle, and this is my adjacent. Now, for now, I'm not finding out the adjacent, so I don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to cross it out, which tells me that I need to use sin. So So I'm going to use so. And when I block out the one that I'm trying to find, which is the hypotenuse, so CD, and I block it out, it's telling me to divide. It's telling me to do opposite divided by sin. So what I need to do then is CD equals 16.7 divided by sin 43, which gives me 24.5 centimetres. So I now know that CD is 24.5 centimetres. So I know this now. So I'm almost on the way to find the perimeter. Next bit is, so if I use a different colour, I'm going to use the green. I can now find A. So I'm now going to look at this here. This is still the adjacent. This is still the opposite. But this time I don't want the hypotenuse, so I'm not going to use that. So instead, I'm going to use tan, so TOA. So I'm going to use TOA instead. When I look at what I want to find, I'm trying to find the adjacent. So I block out the adjacent and it's another division. I need to do opposite divided by tan 43. So that is 16.7 divided by tan 43, which gives me 17.9. Now remember, you could have, to be fair, used this new, knowing that that's 24.5, you could have used that and used maybe the cosine, you could have used cos, but to be honest, it's probably best not to use something you've just calculated in case it's wrong. So if you have a choice, use what's already there. So we know that this is 17.9, and we know that this bit here is 21.2. So we know that from up there. So the whole thing must be 39. So all the way across, if we add 17.9 and 21.2, if I add these two together, I get 39.1. So my perimeter, adding them all up, I get 16.7 plus 21.2 plus the 24.5, and then finally the 39.1, which gives me 101.5 centimetres in total. So there you go, you've got the perimeter. All right, last question then. It says, how many minutes did Leah stay at her friend's house? So we are talking about here. That's how long she stayed. So we know that if all of this is 1 hour, 1 hour divided by 4, each of these must be 15 minutes. And so she stayed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 15 minutes. So 6 times 15 minutes, which is 90 minutes. That's how much she stayed. How far is it from her friend's house to the shopping centre? And so this is where she's at. Her friend's house is at 20 kilometres, and then she's at the shopping centre here at 45 kilometres. So we just need to do 45, take away 20. So her friend's house is 25 kilometres from the shopping centre. Now we just need to end it. So Leah stayed at the shopping centre for 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours. So we need to go. So that's half an hour, an hour, and then 45 minutes. How much was it for again? It was I need to do another half an hour. Actually, I think I've done that wrong. Sorry. So what was it? An hour and a half. So half an hour is 2 squares. Then another half an hour. That's an hour. And then 15 minutes and another 15 minutes. So there. So she stayed there, and then she drove back home, and she arrived at 16:30. So she arrived back home there, and that's it, and that's finished.